All right, everybody. Welcome back to THI, formerly known as Tar Heel Illustrated. I'm Jacob Turner. He's Andrew Jones. And AJ, we're here for yet another edition of our Daily Drop podcast series. And we're here to talk some Carolina football and talk about the potential of Thaddeus Dixon becoming a fan favorite this year for North Carolina. Washington transfer, defensive back. For those that have been following the team in the offseason, you got a chance to hear from him during the summer press conference. Just saying it first and foremost, a very fun listen in the press conference. You were there, AJ. Let's start with this before we even dive into it. Give me some of your thoughts on, kind of talking to Thaddeus Dixon in person, because I have to say, I've been doing this for 6 years. I know it wasn't the longest press conference in the world, but very, very entertaining guy to listen to, in my opinion. One of the most entertaining press conferences I listened to, just in terms of personality and how he talked and kind of joking around with you guys. I thought it was a fun press conference, especially for his first press conference in front of you guys.
Well, you could see how guys would gravitate toward him. Mm-hmm. And clearly he's become a leader in the defensive secondary. That's why he spoke with us in June. He's going to be at the ACC kickoff this week. One of Carolina's 4 representatives to him are in the secondary. Will Hardy will also be there. It seems like he's got that infectious personality. Seems like a pretty smart guy, head on a swivel, like sees what's around him. The fact that he talked about the trees, how different the trees are there from what he's used to in California. He grew up in the LA area, and then he went fishing. And the whole idea of going near your campus and going fishing, you're not doing any fishing right there in LA. They've got those giant, gutter thing with the water runoff and stuff. You're not fishing in there. You got to got to go inland a ways, or go out to the ocean and do it. And that's a different kind of fishing. I think he's enjoying it. I think he's enjoying the different culture, the different place. He's somewhere where there's a lot of newness and excitement. I think he radiates a lot of that. Mm-hmm. So guys like that, you want to have in your program. You want fans to hear them and see them, because as I've said many, many times, and this was one reason Mac Brown gave us a ton of players for interviews, because fans, especially if it's a basketball school, I'm only saying that for the sake of this part of the conversation, they see the basketball players. So they relate to them. They connect with them more, simply because they can envision them in their minds more. They go more on a first-name basis. They play more games, so they're talking more about them. Football players is different because they're wearing helmets and all this gear. And if they didn't wear numbers like we saw at practice, it's kind of hard to tell who a lot of them are. Fans, we do it for a living. Fans who don't have a harder time with it. So getting someone like him out there and in front of the media, just being a fun guy, especially if they win, being a fun guy, being a guy who will talk shop, he'll talk football, do it at a high level, a guy who played national championship game, guy who knows what success looks like, been around it, a guy who's traveled an interesting path, who started out in community college and worked his way up, and now he's an NFL prospect. He's got a great story to tell. He's got a great delivery of the story, and he's got a really good, intriguing game. And want to know more about Steve Belichick? We did that podcast about him. You want to know more about some of the others? You can go to him and talk to him about it. He's been there. So there's a little bit of familiarity on that side of the ball at Carolina because of some of the guys that have come over from Washington. And I think that that's a big, big deal. So he's a guy Carolina fans should like. We don't get great view numbers on player interviews. I've never understood why, because when I was young, I loved reading player quotes about stuff all the time. I like reading the players more. I like reading the coaches. Yeah. Because coaches sometimes do coach speak. I know players do player speak. Thad Lewis doesn't do player speak. He's going to say it. He's going to own it. And Carolina fans should enjoy it. I know Washington fans liked him. So we'll see. Carolina fans should. But I, other than the fact he's a really, really good player, which we'll get into in a minute, I just think he's very likable. Got to have likable. Kamen Rucker was very likable, but Kamen was sort of chill. Mm-hmm. Thaddeus is like, all right, man, let's go, guys. Let's go, boys. Let's rock it.
Yeah,
damn, that fish stinks, but that slippery fish, it stinks and all that. But that was fun. So the guy's willing to fish. He's willing to try fishing. A lot of guys won't do that are from that area. Mm-hmm. You got to respect a dude who's willing to go way out of the norm and try something. Especially
100%. 100%, man. Yeah, there's a mic'd up that Carolina released to him a few months ago during spring practice too. That's super entertaining, and it just kind of illustrates what you're talking about of kind of a funny guy, as someone as a teammate that would just be, you probably laughing at him all the time, but when he gets between those lines, it's all business at the same time. Like, I think I look back at my, when I grew up playing sports, and those are some of your favorite teammates, guys that get it done on the field, but also aren't just like super serious all the time, have good personalities, and are kind of fun off the field as well. Those are the guys that, especially at this level, become those kind of fan favorites, but also, favorites amongst you in the locker room as well. So,
yeah. And the difference, Jacob, is that Thad Dixon can back it up with play on the field.
100%, man. And
he was all honorable mention, all Big Ten last year. And that's pretty big deal. A lot of NFL guys come from that league. He did it on a team. We talk about it in the Steve Belichick podcast about the huge improvement Washington made statistically on defense. They didn't win as many games. They also didn't have Michael Penix on offense anymore. Yeah. Didn't have Kalen DeBoer's offense, but they were better on defense. And Thad Dixon was a massive reason why. So was Belichick, by the way. Oh, cool. So him transferring to North Carolina further validates Belichick to me. Steve. Oh, yeah. And I think that those are two dudes that are linked together right now. And if the defense is really good this year, it's going to be because of Steve Belichick. And it's also going to be because of Thad Dixon, among other things. But that's a nice little connection right there. You can look at and say, that Washington improvement came to Chapel Hill and now made an improvement. And obviously Steve's the coordinator, so his hands will be all over. But I think Dixon's going to be all over it.
Well, the guys can come in and kind of set the culture and expectation of what they're trying to do here. And let me just go through some of his stats from it. You mentioned big all Big Ten honorable mention last year in 2024, played 2 seasons for Washington. Before that, played at Long Beach City College. You alluded to that earlier during the 21-22 seasons. At Washington, played in 28 games, started 12 times, had 2 interceptions, 16 pass breakups, 69 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble with the Huskies, and also recorded a career high 8 tackles with the forced fumble and a breakup against Oregon last year, a team that, as we remember, was pretty dang good, and was also named Washington's Defensive Skill Player of the Year at Team Awards ceremony, which, again, I think just kind of illustrates the talent that he has. But I think he's good. Edge, we'll do some predictions now. I think he's going to become a fan favorite. If all things goes to plan, he comes in and starts and plays as much as we're expecting him to. And especially if this Carolina defense can have the improvements, maybe not the 60 position jump that Washington had under Steve Belichick in year 1, but can have a similar type jump in terms of production and total defense next year. I think Thad Dixon. I'm making the same mistake you did in the last podcast. I got Thad Lewis on my brain now.
Did I say Lewis earlier in this one?
No, you didn't. In the Belichick one, you did.
I know, the Belichick one. I said it like 600 times.
I know. I'm over here like, don't say Thad Lewis. I don't even know who.
I have no idea why. It's so wild how that happens.
Yeah, it's fed off in my brain now. But I think Thad Dixon's going to become a fan favorite, not only for the personality and things that people will see, in social media stuff and press conferences and interviews and things like that, but I just think he's a really talented guy. And I think what he has the potential of doing for Carolina this year, particularly at that DP position, a position that is very open and there for the taking for a guy like him to step in. I think there's every reason to expect it if things go to plan and he, ends up playing as much as we think he is and starting as many games as we think he is, that he's going to be a big time fan favorite. You kind of feel the same way? Or you kind of sitting back and like, there's a chance, but let's pump the brakes right now.
Well, quick sidebar. Thad Lewis was the Duke quarterback a long time ago.
You said Thad Lewis, AJ. You said that.
I said Thad Lewis was the Duke quarterback. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, I didn't hear that. I heard Thad Lewis, and I was like,
the other thing, I'm trying to get used to calling him Thad. I've been calling him Thaddius all along, but I think he'd rather be called Thad. So
I'm looking up Thad Lewis because I'm trying to put a face to that name.
Yeah, I got it.
Yep. That's the guy we're thinking of. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So
that's the third.
Crazy because he's been Thaddeus Dixon in my mind until like a month ago. And we had him at Keenan Football Center, and it's Thad. I'm like, okay, I think I even wrote Thaddeus in that piece. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So he's Thad. I have to. Thad Bosby was a baseball player a long time ago. They called him Third Out Thad when he played with the Phillies because they had rallies going, like 3 innings with rallies, and he made the last out in each of them, ending those innings. They called him Third Out Thad.
Oh, I love
Classic
it.
Philly.
Thad Castle, you might not have seen Blue Mountain State, AJ. Great show. The people who know, if you know, you know. But Thad Castle was like the crazy captain linebacker on the team. He was all everything, but another Thad out there. So I had to throw that one in.
Well,
learned something new today, didn't you?
Thad Dixon. Yeah, I'm trying to get back on track. I think he will. If he gets a pick early and scores and dances and then yaps it up after, fans are going to love him. And I do think they will. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be all ACC honorable mention at minimum. And that's where Huzzy was a year ago. I think Huzzy was probably better than that. Teams just didn't throw his way. But I do think that Carolina fans will like him a lot. I hope we get him next week in Charlotte. And hopefully we get him a couple times in August in camp. We have no idea. We haven't even been given a practice schedule yet. We have no idea what the availability is going to look like. But they're wise if he's one of the guys we get a lot, because you want to connect fans with players they want to like. And you want to like Thaddeus Dixon.
There you go. I'm over here just trying to make sure I say Thad Dixon. I got so many Thads in my mind right now. I need to just get off this podcast before I start trying to think of other Thads we could talk about. But yeah, I think he's going to be one as well. A lot to like about him, a lot of experience in there as well, which I think is important. And a guy, I keep harping on it, but coming from a Steve Belichick defense at Washington, I think is just a huge plus. And again, not the only guy coming from that program with coming over here to Carolina, but I think that's a massive plus too. And I think that's probably where some of the comfortability comes in. I think the experience he has and the personality he has is you're seeing that, but I think there's probably a little bit of a comfort level when you're coming with your defensive coordinator over here. It probably helps you settle in a little bit quicker and get used to things. Because again, he's, like you said, LA guy, man. He's a long way from home right now. So on the East Coast now and looking to help kind of turn a defense around that has struggled for a long time. So if Carolina's defense is turned around this year, I think there's no doubt he's going to be a massive part of it. So looking forward to it, man. We're looking forward to seeing what he can do. That is.
There are 140 things on my checklist of things I'm looking forward to with this football team, just watching and learning and seeing play out. It's going to be fascinating as hell, man.
It is, man. I'm really looking forward to it, especially as it draws closer. You're like, yeah, let's just get this thing rolling, man. Like,
I'm knee deep in the book right now, which is great.
Yeah.
And I'll be knee deep until I go to Charlotte. And then when I go to Charlotte, it's like, okay, man, it's like, the high school football team breaks through the poster when they run through the goalpost. Like, I'm going to break through a poster when I get to Charlotte, and it's going to be all football from that point on.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it as well. But yeah, we'll have an announcement coming soon. Make sure you guys stay tuned. I know that we're being pretty coy and kind of been saying that for a while, and we'll have one sooner rather than later. Trust us.
I want to tell people, but we can't.
You're not the only one, man.
But we will by August 1st, because that's first practice, and we'll be rolling. We will have the operation rolling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's coming. It's just, again, bear with us. We're going to announce it soon, but just not at the position where we can do that quite yet. So, yeah, exciting times coming, though. I think I speak for everyone. Exciting times coming over here for what was formerly Tar Heel Illustrated. So I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones. We appreciate you guys sticking with us. Appreciate you guys subscribing over here. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, too, and get involved in the comments. Want to hear from you guys. What do you think about Thad Dixon? I'm not going to say Thad Lewis this time. Thad Dixon. Let us know what you think about him. Are you excited? Do you think he could potentially become a fan favorite this year for the Tar Heels? And yeah, we'll see what happens when the season starts. But we appreciate everybody watching as always. We'll see y'all next time.
Thanks.